The New York Times has reached a new low point, after a senior correspondent was caught begging liberal billionaires to pump their wealth into propping up the failing liberal mainstream media in order to ensure the American continue receiving their daily dose of unwanted liberal propaganda. Thanks to their bloated budgets, relentless liberal propaganda, and consistently dishonest reporting, mainstream media outlets continue to flop. Longtime outlets are shutting down or laying off staff because people no longer support them. We live in a free market economy, and their far-left ideology does not resonate with enough people to ensure their economic survival. If these people were real Americans who did not hate everything America represents, they would adjust their product accordingly, provide their audience with what they want, and thus ensure their own economic survival. But that's not the way the New York Times sees the situation. According to a senior NID correspondent, the mainstream media should begin courting liberal billionaires, taking their money, and providing the American people with yet more of the liberal propaganda that drove them away from these mainstream outlets in the first place. MWN reports, what can we really say in support of old media? Over the last decade, we've seen 100-year-old outlets close up shop. Old media cannot compete with the efficiency and speed of new media. So, they're all dying off. Not that we're mourning. These are the same outlets that have been pushing liberal propaganda for decades. Like the rest of the mainstream media, newspapers have promoted and defended the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, they've lied, slandered, and distorted conservative America. The elitists who run these papers look down on hard-working folks, ignoring our concerns and trashing our way of life. It's really no big surprise they are now dropping like flies. This week, New York Daily News announced a massive layoff. Half of their new staff is being fired. This is not just because of competition from the internet. After all, the NY Daily News has a website and online presence. It's because Americans are getting tired of the fake news they produce. Across the corrupt media, reporters lamented yet another blow to their corrupt, self-involved, and evil industry. These out-of-touch communists cannot understand why an industry made up of liars and conmen is failing. What can be done to save the Fourth Estate, as they arrogantly call themselves? Perhaps they can streamline their bloated costs, cut back on those inflated salaries, and return to honest news coverage. Nope. The New York Times has a better idea. In fact, New York Times national political correspondent Jonathan Martin has an idea for how some billionaires could be better spending their money, as Twitchy reported. Of course. Now liberals suddenly love billionaires. Aren't they the corrupt industrialists who want to run the government and hurt everyday workers? Doesn't Bernie Sanders and the rest of the hard left absolutely hate billionaires? Don't you want to tax them into oblivion to support terrible ideas like universal healthcare, welfare, and government-provided income? But, now, they expect a billionaire to buy a failing newspaper, a business that is proven to be toxic and worthless. They want these rich people to dump millions of dollars into a dying media and then just give it over to the very people who killed it. Talk about idiocy. You see, journalists are so full of themselves, they don't even realize how irrelevant they are. In any industry, you sink or swim based on consumer support. If people aren't buying your product, you fail. End of story. There is no such thing as welfare for the media. Journalists have been pushing fake news for decades. In the age of President Donald Trump, they have ramped up the lies to new levels. More and more Americans are disgusted by how newspapers, websites, and cable news distorts the facts, just to slam the president. Any influence or profit these companies can get has been wasted. And, it's all their own doing. I can't imagine any intelligent billionaire wasting money, trying to save a dying platform. People in the media can't see that. They think they are needed because they provide a duty to the ignorant masses. How are we supposed to know what to think, unless the New York Daily News is around to lie to us? The arrogance of the liberal news is unmatched anywhere.